is going on YouTube? It is Trev. I'm going to tell you a quick little story that's going to end in a rant, so get ready. Back in the 50s, 1950s, there was a recording artist named Pat Boone. And Pat was moderately successful. I don't think he ever really had, at this point, at the beginning of his career, he didn't have really a defining song, a song that really, kind of catapulted him into real big stardom and fame. But he was, whatever, right? Mediocre artist. At the same time, there was another artist, and you got to remember, this was still during a time in the United States where racism was still very much a thing, right? So there was and there was a lot of segregation. There was another artist back at the same time named Little Richard. Some of you may have heard the name before. Some of you, might not know exactly who he is. Little Richard had a song called Tutti Frutti. And this song was extremely different and innovative. Nobody had ever heard a song like this before. The hook was so catchy. The energy of the song. Now, Little Richard was a very, I'm going to say, flamboyant African-American gentleman. Wore eye makeup and, the way he dressed and the way he performed. He was a piano player and he was a dancer, and he did, so the song was Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, oh, right? Wop bop loo bop bop bam boom. And he would rip that song up. But because of all the segregation, that song was pretty popular in the black community, but never really made it over to the poodle skirt and Argyle sweater crowd, right? Until Pat Boone stole it. And I say stole it because, to my knowledge, I don't think he ever at that time gave any credit whatsoever to Little Richard, who wrote the song, performed the song. He created a whole new sound, a whole new genre, right? But didn't get the props for it because that music was fringe at the point, right? Black people listened to that music. It wasn't pop. It wasn't the popular music. But Pat Boone, because it was such an awesome song, Pat Boone just took the song and performed it. And his version was, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, hey, right? Nothing like Little Richard's, but it was just that good a song. And it caught on, and that was his defining song. To this day, I know people have, they will watch old video of Little Richard doing that song, and they think that Little Richard is doing a cover or a copy of Pat Boone's song. No, that was Little Richard's song, not Pat Boone's song. But the song, because Pat Boone was more marketable, let's put it that way, the song Tutti Frutti became synonymous with Pat Boone. Everybody just assumed it was his song. He controlled it, he wrote it, whatever. And he never really did anything to kind of clarify that, right? He accepted the fame for it. Well, some of you might already know where this is going, right? Let's talk for a minute about Shiba Inu. Let's talk about Shibarium. Let's talk about the Bone ecosystem developers, Satoshi and his crowd. And I do not, and have not from the beginning, it's been almost a couple years now, I do not call them the SHIB development team. Why? Because they are Pat fucking Boone. They took it, they used it, they used the name because it was so hot to give themselves credibility. They used it to get some interest in everything else that they were going to put out, just like Pat Boone did, right? So after Tutti Frutti, people started paying more attention to his music, even though it wasn't his. So, you know, when they put out, if they had just put out, I've said this a million times, if they had just put out Bone, and Leash, and Treat, and Flea Collar, whatever the hell they got going on, right? If they had just done that, and just called it Bone, they would have probably fallen off on the wayside like a lot of other meme coins. But because they used the name of something that was very popular, that already had a following, it gave them credibility. Now, over the last couple of years, I feel like it's been a couple of years, right? We've been waiting for Shibarium to come out because people have said that Shibarium was going to be the thing that benefit Shiba Inu. This is what was going to turn Shiba Inu around. It was going to burn off that massive supply. It was going to rescue all the people who have been holding SHIB for a long, long time, waiting for that penny, dreaming of $1, waiting for all of the promises that have been given for what Shiba Inu can be. This team was supposed to bring that to fruition. Well, a handful of us, myself, Matthew Perry, even Claybro to an extent, right? To a big extent, have been calling these guys out since the beginning in saying that everything that they are doing is just what I just said. They were using SHIB as a mascot. They're taking advantage of the community. They're making tons of promises and not delivering on any of them, because this was supposed to be the thing that was going to launch SHIB. That was supposed to going to be the thing that helped SHIB. None of it has helped SHIB. It's helped Bone, it's helped Leash, it's helped whatever else that they're doing and whatever else that they're tucking away in their wallets, right? That's what it's helped. But Shibarium, how long have we been waiting for it? Because and people began to say, this is the last chance, the last straw. And so there was a lot of hype. And you'd have people like, what the hell's his name? Hilton somebody or other, I don't know. Much bigger YouTuber than me. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he's a douche. I don't like the guy anyway. But you've had people like him that have been pumping and pumping and pumping your heads full of Shibarium and SHIB and equating the two as if they were the same thing. Equating SHIB, trying to make it synonymous with this development team. And it's simply not. They don't own it. They've never owned it. They have no control over it. There's nothing at all they have to do with SHIB. But people like him and some other influencers have been stringing you guys along and talking about how SHIB was going to be the thing. And even some of the guys, I got to say it, like Claybro, right, who originally was very critical, started to maybe drink a little bit of hopium. My good friend Aesop's, right, who I know is going to watch this video, same thing, you know, and he told me, I'm saying this because he just told me it himself pretty much just now. He had hope for this algorithm, this, you know, whatever it was that they were going to do that was going to increase the burn rate and burn these billions and trillions of SHIB that they've been alluding to, right? But I've maintained for a while that if you read what they're saying, if you actually listen to them, they're telling you that Shibarium is not meant to do these things for Shiba Inu. That's not what it's meant for. Bone was the currency, right? It's the main currency of Shibarium. It's the native currency. It's what you need to do anything. And what you're doing is doing things with the other things they've created. Never did they ever mention any use case whatsoever via Shibarium or any other way for Shiba Inu. They alluded to burns, but they would not tell you how much it was going to burn. They would not tell you anything like that. They wouldn't make any promises. They just played on your hope. They played on your dreams. And I've been banging my head against the wall trying to tell you guys this. So is Matt Perry, right? But I say it all the time. This is why I have 2,500, 2,400 subscribers, and people like this Hilson, whatever guy, and some of these other guys who are telling you what you wanted to hear, who were feeding into your hopes and dreams, why they have tens of thousands of followers. Because you guys don't want to hear the truth. You never want to hear the truth. You only want to hear the confirmation bias. You want to keep drinking your hopium. It's a drug. Well, some of these guys, Claybro, actually really came out with a scathing video yesterday, the day before yesterday, really breaking down how much they're actually burning, which is minuscule, absolutely nothing. It'll never amount to a damn thing, right? And then my good friend Richard of Richie's Plain Talk, who called me a hater, right? All in fun, because we love each other, me and Richard. But I made a comment on one of his videos, because I know he owns Bone and he's hopeful for Shibarium, and he's talking about how much it's going to burn and blah 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 blah. And I let him know it's not going to burn a damn thing, right? And he called me, oh, you're still a hater, huh? No, I'm a realist. I'm paying attention, right? Even this Hilson guy, whatever, right? I haven't heard him come right out and say anything negative about it, because that would really make him look like an idiot for as hard as he's pushed it. And I don't watch all of his videos, so I may have missed something. But I see him moving away from it, making very vague references to Shiba Inu. Nothing that will turn the hardcore holders off, but not pushing it and putting his word out there as much as he was. And as a matter of fact, I see him moving into XRP, maybe, right? I think he's kind of phasing out the whole Shibarium thing, because we can clearly see now, after this thing that was just released by them, this little publication or whatever, that it's not going to do anything for SHIB. It's not going to do anything for SHIB. And that doesn't mean that SHIB is a bad investment. That just means that this Shibarium and this team have nothing to do with Shiba Inu. I've been saying it for a long time. Please drop the Shiba Inu name out of your mouths and out of your project, because you're not ever going to do anything for SHIB. You're just using the name, you're using this community to further your own causes and to pad your pockets, right? Now all these guys are starting to put out videos about, I guess SHIB ain't going to do anything. I'm so disappointed. Richard put one out, Aesop's put one out, right? Like I said, Claybros the other day, talking about I guess that's it for Shibarium. The fun is over, right? Game's over. Everybody's coming around to what I've been freaking telling you for years, right? I know you guys don't like to hear the negative. I know you like to call it FUD because it makes you feel better. But the reality is, you have to know both sides of everything, because you're playing with your money, right? The money that you invested, that you were hoping you were going to be millionaires out of, that you're probably not going to be millionaires out of, you'll be lucky if you be hundredaires out of, right? That money, had you listened a couple years ago, and I wasn't giving you financial advice then, not giving it to you now, but I have no problem saying I told you so, right? Had you listened to anything to the contrary of Shibarium was going to be the savior, right? Then you might have made a different choice. And you might not have waited all this long. Maybe all that money that you had invested, you could have put into something else and maybe made a couple bucks, right? Is what it is. Is what it is. I have no sympathy at all. Get mad at me if you want. I have no sympathy for anyone who's still holding Shiba Inu, for anyone who has had faith in this development team, that Shibarium was going to make that, was going to burn trillions, and it was going to skyrocket the price of SHIB and make them all kind of money. I have no sympathy for you, because I have been trying to tell you for a long time. You didn't want to hear what I had to say. You wanted to hear what you wanted to hear. Well, now you got it, right? Now you got it. So, oh well. Too bad. So sad. See y'all later. Ciao.